Hi, my name's Biz, and I'm the DM of the D&D adventure you may have just listened to or are about to listen to, and there's a bunch of lore involved that you might care about or might not care about. So I'm going to say a bunch of shit, and it's up to you whether or not you want to listen to it. Honestly, feel free to just skip this one. I cover all the important stuff at the beginning, so yeah. Long ago there was the first tree, from which all forests, flowers, and plant life grew. From this fruit was born, and from this fruit other gods emerged. The first was a dryad, known as the All-Mother, creator of all dryad kind. She spoke to the tree and asked her to introduce more life to the world, and so she did. Vin, the archivist, recorded the history of the world as he created his chosen people, the Illithids. The world was peaceful, but boring. So the first tree then created Mahurabi, prince of all. He went east, making promise after promise with the Dryads in exchange for land. Ultimately, his promises were delivered, but not in the way the Dryads hoped, as he soon had a massive desert for his people, the Ifrit. Upset by this, the All-Mother asked the first tree for a champion to wage war with Mahurabi. She was generous and gave her Vestas the Wise, an iron general who built many soldiers for himself. When their army approached the border to the desert, Mahurabi snuck away back into the forest and disguised himself as the All-Mother. He tricked the first tree into making something more worth fighting than himself, and into the great sea went the Eyeless One, source of storms. Vestas left the desert, searching the world for this opponent, unable to ever track it down. Eventually he came back to the first tree and begged her to give him better tools, better resources, for his massive army had fallen into disrepair. The first tree sighed and gave him Darvix the Bronze, a great dragon who could create more dragons, as well as the first forge. Vestas continued to wander, continued to wage this endless war on everything, and the gods grew tired. They pleaded with the first tree to give them something that could stop him, and the first tree ignored their pleas. Seeking to solve the problem herself, the All-Mother contacted Mahurabi, despite everything the two had been through. Mahurabi stole a fruit from the first tree, and the All-Mother used it to create Torvis, the first human, who in turn created humanity. Humans would serve the other races, the gods, and help them to eventually stop Vestas the Wise's massive army. Torvis, however, was greedy and deceitful, nearly as much as Mahurabi, and went to Darvix the Bronze to have his great army outfitted with weapons and armor to fight the other gods. His betrayal was found out, however. Mahurabi has many eyes. He told the first tree what had happened, and to protect himself, the first tree created the Silver Warden and his army of Celestials. They fought the humans and eventually overcame them. As punishment, humanity was humbled, forced to live as non-magical creatures of burden, in servitude to the other gods and the races they created. Torvis, their god, was ultimately beheaded by the Silver Warden, and became the Watchful, a giant ghost who wanders the land in penance for his sins, shepherding the lost souls of humanity. Other races came to be eventually, as the first tree loves to create. The gods considered how to regard them. Let them ascend to godhood and risk another situation like Torvis? Ultimately, the gods decided to let them live, not as gods, but still allowed to keep their natural gifts, as a constant reminder of the mistake humanity had made by attempting to rise up against their benefactors. And that's it. Congratulations if you sat through my stupid Bible I made up. That's the lore of the world that the players are operating within. Now that you know that, you know everything they knew when they started the game, so enjoy.